and Angle, two players, 51 points combined between the two forwards.
No doubt about it, and 22 goals between one of the most lethal forward combinations you'll find in the game. Aria Masudi, Morgan Bowen, our entire crew here at Alumni Stadium. 3 points on the line between Notre Dame and SMU. An Irish team who scored 4 unanswered against top 5 Florida State on Thursday night to come back and win 4-2 against the Noles. And an SMU team that fell 3-2 against Clemson at home in Dallas, but prior to that had been unbeaten in 4 straight matches. They've got a corner kick coming here early in this one. The Irish looking for 3 more points. One of 3 remaining unbeaten teams in college soccer. That's number 23 on your screen, Morgan Roy, the junior. In swinging ball, clip down in front of goal, right to the arms of Aubrey Brown, the veteran keeper from Irving, Texas, the junior.
And that's a good collection from Brown, Aria, because this was a quick start to the game. Notre Dame, like I said in the open, but scored 4 goals unanswered against Florida State, essentially in the last 46 minutes of the game, and they were on a quick start looking within the first minute, but for Brown, just to collect that and really settle the tone. We expect to see SMU, they like to press, but we do expect to see their blocks sit a little bit lower, but when they decide to go, they will be decisive and go as a unit. So really trying to make it difficult in the middle for Notre Dame.
There's a foul and a whistle. Soren Sosia, the head official here today. That's Chukwu on your screen. Annabelle, number 7, the sophomore from Canada. Early cross into the box. Dealt with well by that Mustangs back line. Mustangs, of course, in the blue tops, blue bottoms. Notre Dame in all white with the pink socks here in Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Cleared out. And Morgan, we talked about 2 of the best goal scorers in the country. They belong to the Irish of Notre Dame.
And these are 2 players, when you look at Angle and Chukwu, they're players that have the ability to be dangerous in so many different aspects, whether it's 1v1, whether it's pure finishing, or laying the ball off and bringing others into it. And I think you'll start to see some success from other players. You've seen it in stats, but when you watch the game, you will see success from other players as well as teams try to limit Angle and Chukwu. And also, that's so much easier to say, limiting them, than it is to actually do, because they're also playing against some of the best teams in the country and are continuing to produce. Like I said, 51 points between the 2 sophomores, so a lot more to come from them.
That chemistry between those 2, Nate Norman talked to us a little bit about that earlier this week. Chukwu a bit more reserved, Angle a little more outgoing. They're close friends, humble, not jealous of each other's success, and they've found that combo to be able to build the connection and the chemistry. Felt like they've done that at a better clip this season than last year when both were young and freshmen trying to gain footing. And the stats speak for themselves, both scoring a goal against Florida State on Thursday night. That's Abby Mills. On the back line, now playing direct, are the Irish moving forward. 11 wins on this season. Leah Klinke, the captain. Turning her defender, gets a good cross towards the edge of that 6. And again, the back line for SMU, they do want to lead with their defense, want to be compact. Nicole Nelson telling us we will defend. Have moments in transition like this right here as the game tries to open up. Running on is Lizzetti. It'll be a throw. Closed down there by number 5, Carolyn Calzada, the Texas A&M transfer.
And Aria, these are moments that SMU knew that they would get. They knew that they would be able to pick the ball off in transition, but when they go forward, they have to send numbers, and that was a good pickup in the middle from Nieves. She had dropped a little bit deeper, but that ball cannot be sent with so much pace that she's then playing it into a 50-50 space. If she's going to win it, it has to be right into the path of Eddie, about a step or 2 in front of her, so she can run right onto it at full pace, versus then putting a 50-50 where Calzada can just step in and win.
Calzada was a captain for the Aggies each of the last 2 seasons before her making her way to South Bend. Jostling for the ball. Nice work by Haley Hartman, the senior. And Morgan, that's a perfect segue for me to ask you, what are your keys to this matchup for both of these teams looking for points here on this Sunday afternoon?
Well, when it comes to Notre Dame, on paper, we know they will have opportunities, and we know they have the players that can put the ball away. But they have to be clinical, both on the attacking side of things, especially defensively. For them, not having a shutout so far in conference play is a little bit of a mark, because these are the games that they need to really solidify their defending, especially as you think about the run that they can make into the postseason. So defensively, they have to come away with a shutout, and then on the other side, put the ball away like they have shown time and time again. But for SMU, on the other side, it's as simple as limiting the attacking threats from Notre Dame. But we heard a lot from Nicole Nelson about being proactive in positioning, and that is being on the same page defensively, so that when they win the ball, they can then spring out and go as a unit.
Second corner for the Irish. In swinging ball, in on net. Did that get in? It did. Goal, Irish.
This ball is whipped into an incredibly dangerous area. It is starting to go in, and then it's just a bunch of bodies in the area, and it's actually Chukwu who goes up for it. There's a lot of traffic. Brown unable to come out and get a touch on it. The fight that Notre Dame needed to see coming into this game, they have responded with it, because they are the two players going up to try to get a touch. SMU is reactive, and then you have Notre Dame fighting to put that one away.
Chukwu with the goal. There in the 6th minute officially in this one. And for Annabelle, that's goal number 10 on the year. She's in double digits, has now scored a goal in 3 consecutive matches for the sophomore out of Ottawa, Ontario. I thought we almost had an Olympico from Morgan Roy there. I think it was just inches away, right, of having a special moment in this game, but 1-0 nonetheless to the Irish.
Well, Aria, you saw the celebrations after. The ball sent in from Roy was so dangerous. Agreed. It could have potentially gone in. And also, as an attacker, you are so thankful for a ball whipped in like that, because it makes your job a lot easier. You just have to beat someone to the near post, and that's what we saw Chukwu do.
We'll give the assist there to Roy. That's her 6th of the season. An Irish team, one of the best offensive groups, not just in the ACC, but in the country, averaging almost 4 goals per game here this season, led by Chukwu and Tangle, and a number of dangerous attackers. They play open. They don't mind getting numbers forward. Morgan, when we talked to Nate Norman earlier this week, you said it's a front 2 that can turn into a front 5-6 or front everybody by the end of the attack.
And I think of that from a defensive standpoint, being a former defender, because it very much can feel like you go from that front 2 to just every single person is in front of you and dangerous on the ball and attacking. And that's one thing about Notre Dame that makes them so lethal is, one, the high press. So it feels like every single player is coming at you. And 2, just the ability of their attackers when they get forward, whether it is that front 2, whether they have their attacking mid getting involved or sending those wing players up the line. They have the ability to also, as a defender, you don't know what to expect when they get on the ball in the attack.
Early action, 1-0 to the second-ranked Irish, one of 3 remaining unbeatens here on the season. Notre Dame 14-4-4 last season, and Nate Norman's 7th year on the run. Oh, what a cutback here for Roy. Continues it on. Taking the Mustangs defense for a dance. She finds space. Her final ball cut off there. Mustangs trying to play direct. It's Lindsay Nicholson, number 10 at the top of your screen from Palm Harbor, Florida, the freshman. 75 minutes. Oh, bad ball, near turnover, almost a goal. Irish get away with one there. There's Liz Eddy on the end of that ball. Good save from Cassica and a whistle.
When we talk about being clinical, it often comes down to being on the attacking side, but this is what I'm talking about when I say Notre Dame needs to be clinical. This is a ball that cannot be given up from Kasica. She has to connect. A great save, though, to keep SMU off the score sheet, but these are simple things that Notre Dame has to tighten up defensively.
Liz Eddy thought she had a freebie. Kasica, the mistaken keeper, did make up for it with the save. Had 7 of them against Florida State on Thursday night, a season high for Sonoma. When you watch that tape back, Florida State led 2-0, could have easily been 4 or 5-0 in the first half, and Kasica kept the Irish down just a pair with a number of incredible highlight reel saves before Buckner's goal that kind of shifted the momentum back in the Irish's favor.
Yeah, and talking with Nate Norman, he said they really challenged Kasica last year, not just from being a solid goalkeeper, but being a goalkeeper that could really win games for them. And he credited her in a lot of ways. He felt like she did that in the match against Florida State the other night.
On your screen right in front, number 4, Haley Hartman, transfer from Oklahoma. Played at LSU as well. At Oklahoma, was on the Big 12 all-freshman team. Has played all 90 minutes in each game this season. SMU trying to grow into the match. They've had some bright moments for Nicole Nelson. Playing direct, Nieves, number 6. Couldn't find a teammate in blue to connect with. Nobody checked too. But the Mustangs retain possession. Captain, number 15, on the touch. It's Lydia Ungashik. Service, nobody home. There for the Mustangs. Good positioning here for SMU. Final ball lets the Mustangs down, and it rolls harmlessly to Kasica. But this is better, Morgan, from SMU, able to connect a couple passes and the press, giving the Irish some issues.
Well, and what the unlock was for them there was the wing backs for Notre Dame. So Roy is caught high, and then they play that ball in behind to Nieves. So she was able to slip in behind the pocket between the wide wing back and the right center back for Notre Dame, and it created that unlock of a space. So that is an area in transition. Look for SMU to continue to find, whether it's Nieves on the ball or looking for Liz Eddy on the opposite side, can they find that little pocket to then force Notre Dame to shift where they can then build out?
Shot attempt on frame, hit with pace, but right at Brown. That was 9. Charlie Codd. Here's Nicole Nelson. Transition from the American Conference a couple years ago to the ACC. Nicole telling us earlier this week, she said the depth is something we have to continue to develop. We can make SMU a powerhouse in a talent-rich city in Dallas. It's just going to take some steps, but the adaptation to this new league has been such a blessing for SMU. And Nicole Nelson's done an outstanding job, already improving this year to 8 wins from the 6 they had 1 year ago in their first year in the league.
And that's great work defensively from Klinke. We mentioned her in the starting lineups, but just an experienced player. She's been on that back line for Notre Dame, doing the work defensively. So when the ball drops in, those wing backs become essentially part of the back line, especially on the weak side. Klinke exactly where she needs to be and just wins the 1v1 battle versus Eddy.
Eddy and the Mustangs down by a goal. You saw in the bug pop there. Went to the American Conference Championship game in 2022 and 2023. Falling both times to Memphis by 1 goal apiece. There's a foul. Morgan, you and I will both get a chance to call this year's version of the American Final down in the state of Florida. It should be a lot of fun, a great conference in its own right. Yapich sends it forward. Early action in South Bend. Early goal from Annabelle Chukwu, her 10th. That happened in the 6th minute. Off a wonderful ball on a corner kick there from Morgan Roy. So the Irish find themselves ahead early on senior day. Service, knocked down, cleared out. Irish stay on the ball though. Shot block. And cleared away again for a throw. Women's sports take over the afternoon every Sunday right here on ACC Network. Next week, we start at noon Eastern with soccer. Number 3 Stanford squares off against Miami, and then Cuse hosts number 23 North Carolina in volleyball. Should be another great afternoon. Ball whipped into the box. That's going to roll out for a goal kick. Morgan, how does the 1 goal from Notre Dame early change this match for both teams?
Well, one, it gets them off to the hot start that they needed, right? So building on what they kind of finished off from the last game. But I also think with what we've seen from SMU, it's almost forced them a little bit quicker out of their block because now they're chasing the game. Granted, they do know their best game plan is to sit a little bit lower and then take advantage of those transition opportunities, which is one of their strengths as a team anyway. But I do think it's forcing them maybe to step out a little bit quicker. In a weird way, this game has almost opened up a little bit sooner than I thought it would. I never really expected with these two teams we would see it fully open, but I do think that it's given SMU a little bit more of a chance. Okay, if the ball goes back, are we going to step higher? Because now we're chasing the game for almost a full 90.
Roy onto her left, service, whipping in, ball's down, spilled at the net, but picked up by Brown. Terrific ball again from Morgan Roy, the junior from Commerce, Michigan.
Roy's been busy on the ball already out wide. We obviously saw her assist off the corner, but she's not afraid to go 1v1, and you can see in her matchups today, she's confident. She wants the ball. She wants to look forward, and she wants to go beat 1v1. Almost every single time she's gotten the ball, she's putting herself in a position. She's really good on this cutback, sends the ball in with her left foot, but I've noticed that already almost every single time she's on. She wants to collect it, slow down, and then go and beat her player 1v1.
Top 60 recruit out of high school was Morgan Roy. The creativity stands out for her head coach, Nate Norman, who's done a fantastic job. Got the Irish to the quarterfinals 1 season ago in the NCAA tournament, fell 2-0 to Stanford. But I got to tell you, having watched Notre Dame play this season, they've got to be one of the favorites in what is a stacked ACC, who has a number of contenders for a national title. Direct play looking for Chukwu. Knocked down to Tangle. Restovich has it cleared off the top of the box. SMU relieves that pressure. Flicked on. Not a bad idea there from Tangle to Chukwu. Just didn't get the angle quite right as Brown was reading it well off her line.
And Aria, what opened up that opportunity was Restovich found the ball deep in the midfield, had a quick turn, and then was beyond her SMU defender. Coming into this matchup, part of the game plan for SMU was really trying to limit the time and space that Notre Dame holding mids, their sixes, would have on the ball. So earlier we saw Matriano, now we see Restovich in that spot. SMU does not want that role to be able to turn and play make, because nothing came from that last one, but you see the ability that these Notre Dame players have, especially when they're then playing the ball forward into Chukwu and Tangle.
That chemistry is completely developed for those top two. A Notre Dame team that Nate Norman telling us they could win in a number of different ways here this season. He felt like that's the biggest difference from 1 year ago. He said, we might have had one type of way we could win last year with the young team, but this team's resilience, this team's adaptability, and that was on display Thursday night, wasn't it, against Florida State, who wanted to make Notre Dame play in a different way. Physical, tough, opened the game up, but the Irish responded in a grand way. Chukwu trying to create that space. Was dispossessed. How can SMU hold on to the ball just a little bit, relieve some pressure? There's a whistle. Here's Coach Norman, ACC Coach of the Year back in 2022. Perfect at home here this season. Morgan, he was telling us, he said that he feels like this group has matured a little bit. He said we're young and we're not necessarily experienced, but we are seasoned just a little bit based on last year's trials and tribulations. And this group's ability to respond has been what's impressed him the most.
Well, I love asking coaches about players who either played a lot as freshmen or just have a really high upside as young players. I love asking them, what was the work in the spring, or what do you see different about them this year? Because it is a time, you have a spring, you have a whole half a year to work with these players on the skills that you need them to be really good at to fit in your system. But then on the other side of that, they've been battle tested. They've played. And these are players that you can't, training grounds are incredible, and I can only imagine what practices look like for both of these sides, and nothing compares to playing in the ACC. So I love hearing, okay, young teams, yes, they're coming back for year two. What's the biggest difference? And you're right, these teams, especially Notre Dame, they've been battle tested. They lost some heartbreak last year, and this is a young team that's coming back and ready to prove and make a difference this year.
Roy's been a part of that. In swinging ball again, similar, almost found the net once more. That ball has serious whip to it. My goodness, was bending towards the line yet again, and Chukwu almost got her head on it again.
Morgan Roy is on today. Everything, when she is on the ball, she's committed, she knows where she wants to go with it. Those set pieces have been absolutely dangerous.
Towards that penalty spot, Chukwu laying her body out on the line. Dispossession by Klinke, the senior from Houston, Texas. Excellent work by the Mustangs and Liz Eddy. That'll be a throw for Notre Dame.
Aria, nothing came from it, but how in the world did Chukwu just extend her leg, get down on the ground like that, and then pop back up so quickly when Klinke was dribbling down the sideline? That was so athletic and impressive.
Her head coach is in awe of her ability. Chukwu, here's Roy on that right side. Couldn't quite get enough on the ball there as it's cleared away. The Irish, though, counter press, recycled back towards the penalty spot. Here's Chukwu bringing the ball down, drops it off. And Restovich then plays it out wide. Roy, pocket of space there. Got caught in between of a cross and a shot. It'll go out harmlessly. Nice sequence, though, for the Irish.
Yeah, Morgan Roy's going to want that one back, but that's an incredible ball from Restovich to play her wide into that channel. But a really good service originally from Ali Pinto. Playing on this back line, she's been incredible so far this season for Notre Dame, playing in a little bit of a new position, so calm on the ball, really good service and just delivery in general, whether it's a cross, whether it's passing and getting forward. But her vision stepping in on that back line, she plays like a midfielder, but then can get into tackles, is really dominant in the air. Ali Pinto has, in that right center back position, has been really strong for Notre Dame this season.
It's come a long way, too, per her head coach. Didn't play 1 year ago. Transitioned back from midfield to defense. Did Pinto. On your screen, that's Restovich Grace from St. Louis, Missouri. Comes from a family of Irish. Her mom and dad, George and Michelle, both played athletics at Notre Dame. Her grandpa, George, as well. Go in for the Mustangs. They won the ball back a little higher up the pitch, won some field position.
That's not a bad idea from Jones on the back line for SMU, but that ball's got to be hit more at an angle to find Nicholson in central versus then playing it just straight up the line. Nicholson is a player who's been pretty good in her hold-up play, getting the start today for SMU, so can they find her feet versus trying to play her in behind and then getting into a foot race?
Joseph on the shot, curling, just misses. Oh my goodness, there was a moment there that ball was bending towards that back post. It had beaten Aubrey Brown.
Lily Joseph on the run. Look at the little roll to get the ball on her left foot. She lets that one go without any space, gets it out from under her foot, and whips that one in. What a beautiful shot.
Lily Joseph, the sophomore from Hamden, Connecticut. Her dad, Ronald Joseph, a member of the Trinidad and Tobago national team for a number of years. Lily, who burst onto the scene as a freshman, has it here again. Good ball, Roy. Onto her right, clips it back to her left, puts it on frame. She couldn't quite loft it over Aubrey Brown, who's been active, as has Roy. What a first 25 minutes or so for Morgan Roy and her influence on this match. Chukwu playing deep, beautiful move. Creates that space, running towards net, plays it wide. Foul flag had gone up, offside.
And Aria, this was the last opportunity on the ball by Roy, but watch the movement from Joseph. She backpedals a little bit, then enters that space, gets into a tackle, and then it's sprung wide for Roy, who once again chooses to go 1v1. This little cutback to get the ball on her left foot is her move for today. So defensively for SMU, how can you force her right to then at least get a foot in, or you give up the service versus then allowing her to continue to come central? But Joseph, that little movement opened up that whole opportunity from Notre Dame.
38 minutes against Florida State on Thursday for the sophomore. And this Notre Dame team who continues to look dangerous in the attack. Chukwu wins the ball. Up ahead to Angle. First touch, couldn't quite collect it cleanly.
Well, it's a good defensive movement from Jopic to get behind, because that's the second play in a row Haley Hartman has been pulled really, really high into the midfield because she's tracking, trying to stay with Chukwu. But when she steps up, it opens that pocket. Aria, keep an eye for that checking coming from Chukwu. If she continues to do that, look for the space that then opens up, because you essentially just leave three defenders for SMU and a big space right in the middle. So as Chukwu checks forward, Angle can run through, or you can have another far runner getting in behind.
Yeah, Notre Dame continues to try and exploit the Mustangs. They've been sitting in a bit of a mid-block, not quite a low block. And that's not what Nicole Nelson wants to do, right? She wants to create some chances as she's chatting there with Eddie on the tactic. She told us it's a chess match in the ACC. She said it really brings the best out of her as a coach.
Substitution for Notre Dame, clearing the pitch for the Fighting Irish, number 10, Ellie Hudson, replacing number 7, Annabelle Chukwu.
Way to go, defense. Way to go, White. Come on.
1-0 Irish on a goal from Chukwu in the 6th minute of this one. Joseph looking for a through ball. Phenomenal ball there. Oh, it was perfectly into the path of Angle.
That
Subs
was
that just come in.
incredible. An incredible pass from Joseph, though, in that last opportunity. She has unlocked different areas of this Notre Dame attack.
Maybe Janareff. 1v1. Restovich wins that battle and is fouled.
And this ball in, it's Joseph. She comes deep just on the other side of half, wins the individual battle, and slips this ball right in between. Defensively, Hartman doesn't even see the ball coming through because she's just trying to play angle. That one did not miss by much.
What a terrific run as well from Angle, huh? Shoulder to shoulder with the last defender. Now SMU playing it through. Who's there? Nobody. Oh, most dangerous moment for the Mustangs so far. Couldn't find a teammate in blue to run on and put the finishing touch on frame.
And SMU has that ability to strike quickly, but they have to have the numbers because it's a good ball in. Just no one there to finish.
This is Gordon. Dispossessed. There's some confidence, though, right now brewing for these Mustangs. And Nicole Nelson told us they're not going to be afraid coming in playing the Irish.
And it's Nieves who plays that ball in to Gordon. Nicholson is there, but she's really the only attacker in that 6. And then she's playing, what, against 5 defenders from Notre Dame. Can that far side run just be a little bit closer to have another option?
What spaces are you identifying right now, Morgan, that Notre Dame's giving up that might allow SMU some opportunities?
Well, it's coming from the little unlocked channels out wide, and it's not a big space, but SMU is going quick. So right there on the ball, you had Nieves getting forward, and then it's the ball played in wide once again, and the run coming around. But I mentioned it earlier, the space in between the wing back and the outside center back is open if SMU can go quick and have the decisive movement into it. But that's where their wide players have the ability to unlock. So right now we're looking at Janareth, we're looking at Gordon or Nieves. Can she slide wide? But it either has to be played into their feet or right into their path. If it's played too far 50-50, they won't have the opportunity to get on the other end of it.
Number of substitutions have now entered for both teams as that'll go towards the corner flag. And in the end, it'll be a goal kick, including for Notre Dame. Ellie Hodson, number 10's in for the Irish, the sophomore who Nate Norman described. He said if Tangle and Chukwu are our fastball, then Hodson is the curveball that comes in. I haven't quite coached a player that can do the things that she can do.
Yeah, we had a great conversation, and I loved the way that he explained her there. I was saying she's more of an energy injector because every time she comes in, you know she's going to inject something, an opportunity, a chance, a goal, an assist. She is a player that battles hard, but has the ability to be technical and go 1v1 and play a little slip ball in. So I really enjoy watching Hodson, and she's a player that totally could start on a team, and I actually think the role that she plays right now is perfect for her skill set because she's that change of pace from Tangle and Chukwu like you have for Notre Dame. But seeing what she's able to do and then hearing Nate Norman talk about it makes sense as to the special type of player that she is. And you know she's going to battle because she's powerful, she can go 1v1, and she's pacey, yet can finish. And I thought that was such a great compliment, saying how he's never really coached a player like her, like you mentioned, Aria. Because think about the skill sets that he's seen, and she's so different in what she provides for them.
No doubt about it. 3 goals in her last 4 contests as well, all coming against top competition like Florida State, North Carolina, and Clemson. Here's Roy on the throw. That to 19. Allie Pinto, who drops it back. Mills, a sophomore from Southlake, Texas. A foul as Knapp goes down. Tessa Knapp, the freshman from Bay Village, Ohio. 2 goals on the year. A little under 12 minutes to play in this opening stanza. The Irish with an early blitz, but SMU has found its way back and growing into the match. We know how quick the Irish can strike. Nice work there to create space on the cross, headed away. Pinto to Joseph. Roy, dangerous with that right foot towards that back post, a little heavy for the on-running Angle. Wonder to remind you that the all-new ACC PM is Monday through Thursday from 6 to 7 Eastern, and Friday is a special 2-hour football focus edition from 5 to 7 Eastern. It's hosted by Kelsey Riggs-Cuff right here on ACC Network and the all-new ESPN app.
That's a good win centrally from Hartman for SMU, because you could see how Notre Dame was pinging the ball around, the quick movements, but Hartman able to step up and at least limit that attack with Notre Dame having to regroup.
Gordon trying to battle against a pair of Irish defenders, couldn't do it. But able to work hard and earn the ball back on the throw. First time cross, whipped into the box, edge of that 18. And Notre Dame does well to clear it. Releases that pressure for the time being. Hodson, physical, working her way up. Roy joining her. 2-on-1, Roy wins that battle. Physicality there from Roy. Hodson there on the near side. Cross, finds a wide open Irish. And the shot tapped in. Ah, the flag went up. It's an offside on the Irish, and so the cheers will reside. Flag did go up.
And this ball comes all the way across to Knapp. If you look at where Angle is, she looks to be in front of Hartman, but she would actually be essentially in the place. Usually your goalkeeper is your last defender, but at that spot, it actually looks like the goalkeeper is higher up. So then your last defender becomes a field player. So usually you're used to looking at the goalkeeper, where's the goalkeeper and then where's the field player, but this one's a little bit different just because the goalkeeper was stepping towards the ball.
You're right, Morgan. You learn something new, right, each and every year, and you played at a high level. Offside is not the last defender. You just think of that because the goalie is usually the final defender. You have to be in front of 2 defenders. Yes, indeed. It's not just one defender. You can't be behind a pair of defenders. And like you just said, goalie came up, so where are the 2 defenders for SMU? They're not there.
Right, so 22 at this point from our angle looks to be technically the last defender. Angle is beyond that player, with Hartman then being where we're used to the goalkeeper standing, being the last player. But with the last defender, it would have been 22, and Angle's beyond that.
You think you play your whole life, right? And you've got it figured out. And no player offensively ever thinks they're offside anyway. But then it's explained to you, and you go, oh, well, that does make sense. The goalie is usually on the line, so that would make a second player that you have to be behind.
I'm also shocked as an analyst how many things I would just say were for us or in our favor as a player when I truly had no idea. I just wanted any advantage. So yeah, it's really testing my soccer knowledge compared to when I was a player.
And I think there's still a lot of people at home that will go, I don't get it. And that's okay. We're working through it.
We can slow that one down, but we'll have to use other phrases instead of last defender. Instead, we'll have to talk player, person, defender.
The old Michael Scott office quote, right? Explain it to me like I'm 5. That'll go for a goal kick. Under 9 to play here in this first half. The Irish lead 1-0 on a goal from Annabelle Chukwu. What have you liked so far, Morgan, as Truth Byers comes in for Lindsey Nichols and some substitutions? What have you liked from both of these teams so far in this first nearing 45 minutes?
I've really liked what I've seen from SMU. Aria, you asked me earlier, how did the early goal for Notre Dame change things? And quite frankly, it didn't seem like it changed that much, except it gave them a little bit of, the advantage, having 1 goal ahead.
Terrific save from Brown, by the way. Angle got a flick onto the net and on frame, but Brown pushes it away for a corner.
And what I was saying feeds perfectly into this. SMU has been committed defensively. Nicole Nelson told us she was a defender. Her teams will defend, and that's exactly what they've done today. They've been committed to it, and you saw it just there in that last opportunity, their ability and work to get back. You've also seen this is a great view. You have 3 people now trying to be on that near post.
Back post header. Missed by just whiskers.
Well, and Ario, you can see how SMU has responded to those chances. First off, the goal from Notre Dame, and they've been dangerous with all the other service coming in. But they have 3 players lined up, 1, 2, 3, on that back line to try to limit any of those players stepping in from Notre Dame and getting to the ball first. It almost catches them on the far side. But that's a really good response, and I've been impressed with that from SMU. Things are not going their way as much. They have not had as much time on the ball, which they expected, but their response and their ability to, when they win the ball, go quick in transition, they knew they needed to be on top of that today. I would say it has been for them. So have they had all the chances? No, but look at that one opportunity they had going forward. The cross played in. If they had a backside runner there, that easily could have evened things up.
Nicole Nelson was telling us this week about when the ball is intercepted and when Notre Dame does provide some space, that decision-making in the counter has to be really good. She pointed to a match against Cal in that 2-1 victory and said that's got to be the blueprint. And she said, we're realistic. We know this would be an upset if we found 3 points, but nobody goes undefeated. Everyone's primed for a bad day. But so far, the Irish, they've played with a lot of energy. Nate Norman said that was a key for them as this cross finds the edge of the 6-yard box. A lot of white jerseys piling on, but a lot of blue jerseys with high work rate able to clear it out and relieve that pressure. My goodness. Nine to 1 in shots in favor of Notre Dame. Shots on goal 5-1. The Irish top 8 in the country in both of those categories coming in. One of the most prolific attacks in college soccer for Nate Norman and Notre Dame. Not quite done yet here in this first half. They lead by a goal. Service towards that penalty spot, clipped by a Mustang defender, but Brown read it well.
Aria, going back to what you asked me too about what I've liked from SMU and then from Notre Dame is just how they've switched things up in the attack. It's what they do best, right? They have so many weapons who can beat you in so many different ways.
Turnover, shot, save, Brown.
Well, and that's a good save from Brown because it's a really quick strike from Angle. That's just a 1v1. She picks off the ball from Hartman's foot. And I'm kind of surprised that SMU is choosing to play this so short when Notre Dame can press and they have their team organized behind the ball. If you have Angle, you know she'll get stuck into a tackle, and that's not an area to give the ball up, especially as this first half closes down. A 1-0 game is very different from 2-0 going into half.
Restovich, out swinging ball, headed down, it's in, is it across the line? Yes, indeed it is, 2-0 Irish. You better believe we're going to get another look at this one. That was oh so close.
And it's another corner. The players go up. This is a great angle here. It absolutely looks like it crosses over, and if not, it would have been a handball.
That Abby Mills on the header has looked dangerous on those set pieces a number of times already this afternoon. We'll get an official review here, but like you said, Morgan, it did look like the ball clearly crosses the line.
So there has to be 2 things they're looking at here, right? This is obviously the angle behind. Can we see if the whole entire ball is across the line there? No. So that's difficult. I think the first angle, this one here, is a little bit easier to see. The player's going up for it. It's the header. It's actually a touch. And is that going in? Yes. Does it drop beyond? It does right there off of actually the goalkeeper, so off of Brown's hand. And then secondary, if it doesn't, that's still a handball right on the goal line. So you have to guess that he's looking at two things here. My first thought is that is a goal, because that's what happens. It crosses the goal line there.
It did hit the hand of Paxton Bach, number 12 for SMU, but a great job by our crew. Any chance, Morgan, that that was offside as well? We've already been learning about it throughout this first half.
So we saw that last one, and the goalie did come out. Goalkeeper Aubrey Brown came out. So yes, they could be looking at that, but I have to question, if they're looking at that, how are they also not looking at a handball when that ball is going in the trajectory of the goal? It hits an arm and completely changes the path. So looking at, is Klinke, that must be the player they're looking at for offside. Are they also considering her in the play, which yes, she's behind the goalkeeper and Brown. That could be considered that she's then part of the play. There's a lot that we're looking at right here, Arya. And what I don't know for sure, what was the call on the field? Because it looks like nothing was called, so therefore it would have been no goal in my POV, and then it was paused, so they need to then overturn that.
Abby Mills hoping it's good news. The sophomore Aubrey Brown hoping to keep it at 1-0. And just that deficit and a single goal.
And you would think that he's looking at the offside first, because if that was offside, then it would not matter if it was the handball. It would not matter if it crossed the goal line. So you have to guess that that right now is really the decision that's being made.
It's a terrific job from our crew here at Notre Dame. This is the exact video review looks that our officiating crew is looking at.
And what's clear there is they're trying to decide, is Klinke offside and part of that play? Is she behind Brown? Yes. Would you consider that part of the play? I think you could truly make a case for either. She's not going for the ball, she's running out of the way, but does she get in the line of Brown? Also, what did it look like so quick? It's hard to tell too when it slowed down there. And you can tell there he's pointing inward, and that's the way in which Klinke was running. And we're back to this other view. Did it cross the goal line? And it looks like when it bounced, no, but then you see the hand on trying to scoop it out from Brown, and that is when it looks like the ball does cross the goal line. So thinking that we're now looking at this, offside could have been put to the side, and now we're looking at the next thing, and when the ball bounced, was it? No.
Here's the call. Well, it is good news for Abby Mills and the Irish. It's 2-0. They double their lead at home.
And what that came down to was no offside, the ball crossed the goal line, and it did look like it was when Brown was looking to swing it out, that's when the whole ball went across the line for the goal.
Now that the goal stands, Morgan, how about the Irish on set pieces today? Nate Norman talked about the different ways Notre Dame can beat you. And he talked about how last year, if a game went a certain way, the Irish could find 3 points. They could find a way to advance. This year, they're so adaptable in the way that they can find ways to move on and to find success.
Well, and Aria, that is one thing you and I have not talked about coming into this game. We didn't talk about it with coaches, and truly it wasn't the one thing I was looking at with what was going to be the difference maker of this game, but it has been the set pieces, and that comes down to the service. But what I would also credit that to is the fight. And that's what Nate Norman was calling for his team to do in the second half of that game versus Florida State. And I do believe that's how they started this game. And that is what is leading, having them lead this game 2-0. Because a lot of it has also happened off the second, third ball when it's bouncing around from the set piece. So that has been the difference maker.
How about that stat? 2 goals in every game this season for the Irish. The only team in the country that can lay claim to that. Abby Mills, number 20, the sophomore, the second goal of this match for the Irish on this senior day.
Come on, Irish, come on! There you go, defense. Let's go, let's go! Come on! 'There we go!
Ball played out wide, Irish leading by 2. And cleared away. Now Logan dispossessed, cleared out.
Come on, Irish!
1 minute remaining in the first half. 1 minute.
Thank you!
35 seconds to play. The Irish 2, SMU 0. Annabelle Chukwu opened things up with a goal in the 6th minute. And Abby Mills delivered just moments ago. 20 seconds to play. Final few moments, can SMU find a goal? No, dispossessed, and that's going to be it for this first 45. So Notre Dame leads 2-0 over SMU. Morgan, strong half here for the Irish. Although SMU had their moments.
Still think 3 shots and 1 getting on frame, that's them making the most of it. And I agree with what we heard from Nicole Nelson. They've had their chances. They have to put it away.
How about an insane stat to start the second half? Notre Dame owns a 50-0-3 record in its last 53 matches when scoring first in a contest. That includes 27 consecutive victories. Been a recipe for success for the Irish to find goals early and often. And they've got two, thanks to Annabelle Chukwu and Abby Mills. On that turn, it'll roll into the box. Morgan, you heard from both head coaches now. What adjustments do you want to see made by the Irish and the Mustangs in the second 45?
Well, from Notre Dame, they need to continue doing what they're doing. Nate Norman was pleased with his team, and they definitely came out. They had that urgency, and I agree with him. Can they continue to play with the urgency and not relax? Because this is a team, like I said, still looking for their first shutout in conference play. This is a game with how they've played thus far. They need to walk away from a full 90 with 0 goals against. They're going to continue to look on the attacking end and put them away. That's not an issue for them right now. It's defensively. Can they be cohesive and get that clean slate? And on the other side with SMU, I mean, I completely agree with Nicole Nelson. I think her team did their game plan very well. I think their block was effective. Where Notre Dame started to have more opportunities outside of those set pieces was they actually got more from their attacking mids. You see her on the ball right now, Lily Joseph had a really good first half when she came in, and that became more of their unlock. Can they limit that and also take advantage on the attacking end?
Well, Joseph finds a little just acre of space and almost ripped a third goal. Another shot on frame. The talent of a Lily Joseph on full display so far here on this Sunday afternoon.
And she's finding a different pocket. Right now, SMU is trying to limit the holding midfield play for Notre Dame, so Joseph is finding the space at a little bit more of an advanced positioning. Codd has been marked pretty tightly. Restovich has as well. And Joseph is the one who's kind of bopping beneath the forwards and picking the ball right up like you see once again.
Terrific ball to Chukwu. 1v1, Chukwu angling, trying to find just the half chance to get a shot on frame. Was dispossessed. Now what can SMU do in the counterattack? Cole Nelson said she wants her team to be a little more decisive. And some indecision there for Nicholson. Leads to a turnover. The counter press has the ball right back to the Mustangs. Eddie, and it's a throw-in.
SMU cannot give any space to Lily Joseph. This is a first touch that goes with speed and pace, and she lets the ball go. A good save there from Aubrey Brown, not too challenging, but they have to not allow space for Joseph to create.
Big throw. A lot of mustard on it into the box. Almost a half chance for the Mustangs. We're able to clear it away.
And remember, for SMU, we do expect to see Nia Rose hopefully in this game. She's coming back from missing the last few with injury, so she is a player that we are hoping to see for SMU. And when she enters, what can she inject into this attack as well? So I think SMU has set a good foundation for today, and if they choose to get her in, I do think she's a player that could unlock a little bit of their attack as well.
Yeah, Morgan battling some of those concussion symptoms, has missed the last few matches. Such an important piece for the Mustangs is the junior who's gotten looks with the Canadian national team. Her and her sister Jade. Those 4 goals from Rose have been missed remarkably. SMU battling some injury as that cross is out for a goal kick. They don't have Brooke Bunton, who went down with a hamstring. She's battled that throughout the year. And on their back line, Mayu, Japanese international, hasn't been available, tore her ACL. And so it's been a bit of an adaptation as well for the Mustangs this season, but they've done well. 8 wins, 2 draws. You got 4 results in ACC play as well. And it's a continued evolution, right, for Nicole Nelson's group as they transition into the best soccer conference in college soccer. That's the biggest difference that SMU and Coach Nelson talked about, Morgan, is the depth, right? Not having the sheer amount of depth that some of these other powerhouses have, that she's looking to continue to build through recruiting and some help from the portal as well. Corner coming.
Well, and Aria, oftentimes in that situation, teams don't see maybe the impact that can happen in the recruiting class or transfer portal until a little bit later. So it takes a really good season or entering the ACC, and then the players you bring in, they're not always coming in the next season. Sometimes you do have to wait a little bit, but I think SMU has created a really good path and trajectory for themselves, also knowing they don't have their full squad due to some injuries.
Ball headed down, not a bad feed from that corner, outswinging ball. Kasica able to scoop.
And here you see SMU, that press is a little bit higher, so this is not a mid-block. They're stepping high, but where they have to be tight is right there. That unlock for Notre Dame, if they can slip a ball through the lines in the midfield, they will be in behind. But a really good step up from the defenders for SMU. That's just where they expose themselves a little bit if they choose to step the line high and that first wave of press gets beat.
Saw that stat on the corners first of the day for the Mustangs. They came in 15th in the country with nearly 7 corners a contest. Throw in one. Good sequence here for SMU. They're playing with a little more confidence, definitely making some adjustments at the halftime break and pushing higher up the field.
Well, they're putting pressure on this back line for Notre Dame, and when they lose it, they're keeping the press. So it's keeping the ball in their offensive third.
Mistouch there from Nicholson. Kasica, no issues. Read it well off the line.
Aria, something I expect to see in the second half, one, are there opportunities where SMU chooses to press, and that it almost becomes a sustained press for them because they're still in it. But once Notre Dame beats this press, how can SMU get on the same page? But right now it doesn't prove to be something that they need to do because the Irish are having trouble beating not just the first line, but that second. Because that's where SMU is able to pick the ball back up, and it's getting their numbers forward and keeping the ball in a dangerous area for them. What it comes down to is now another set piece opportunity. Can they be more decisive, like we heard Nicole Nelson ask from her team, so they can create something from these chances versus just getting deep in their final third and not creating anything from it.
Second corner, it's Nieves. In swinging ball, edge of that 6, headed and right into the midst of Kasica. Jopic got her head on it.
And it's a good connection from Jopic. What's hard is her body's going back, so she's trying to get all of her power moving forward, but she's going in an opposite direction. But yeah, she gets her head on that. It's not a bad service. But I do think that's a confidence builder for SMU because it was sustained pressure, sustained opportunities, and now they're regrouping a little bit. So how can they build back into having more chances like that?
Is there a specific player you want to see for SMU get more involved?
I wouldn't say exactly specific player, but what I want to see more connection with is Eddie and Nicholson getting forward. So Liz Eddy out wide right, Nicholson a little bit dropped more in that attacking mid area. We've seen some times where they look to play make, but they're not on the same page. The ball is either played in behind and the run's not going, or it's just a missed touch. So I would love to see those two just connect better, because I think when the ball's in transition, they can be so quick and powerful to create an unlock for SMU.
Played out to the width, Roy. Operates, crosses towards that back post. Nobody home. It's a goal kick. Terrific feel for the game for Morgan Roy. She has shown her quality so far today. She's played a full 90 in back-to-back games against Florida State and Louisville. Has 16 assists in her Irish career. One of the leaders in this program. Haven't seen a ton of Izzy Angle so far here today. She has scored in 6 consecutive matches for the Irish, leads the team with those 13 goals. Right on cue, ball played in her path, and Brown was ready for it. Quickly off her line. There's the sophomore from Medina, Minnesota. Track and field star in high school as well. Minnesota Gatorade Player of the Year before 19 goals 1 year ago. National Freshman of the Year, as well as in the ACC.
It's a great ball.
Notre Dame switches the point of attack. Morgan Roy, 1v1 into the box, head of steam. Great individual emergency defending. It will be a corner.
And this opportunity was created by the ball wide from Ali Pinto. She's the player that's filling in on that right center back and just has a really good vision. So she pulls two defenders, springs it wide to Roy. But you have to credit Ungashek in the middle, closing down that opportunity for Roy, trying to get end line.
Restovich, right corner flag. Brown confident, skying into the air for that one.
And there were no questions there that Aubrey Brown was coming up strong, gonna win that ball. The response has been good from SMU in this second half, Aria.
Playing with some confidence, no doubt. With a little more what for as well. But the Irish can attack in such a blink of an eye. Is there a whistle? I believe advantage was given, but they're going to move the ball back for a free kick. Being explained there to Nieves.
And it looked like he said that it kept going. I actually don't mind that battle. I think both players are going hard there, and I also think it's a good fight. But it looks like it was called just because it was multiple times pulling on Roy.
Restovich towards that 6-yard box. Bit heavy, maybe a touch late on the runs started by the Irish, but Brown was able to grab it.
Ever since the first goal against, we've seen Brown a lot more confident off her line, and she comes off pretty far. So she's winning those aerial battles, but it does open up if Notre Dame can just be a little bit quicker to get to that near post. They might be able to pick one off knowing that she's coming so far out.
Dispossessed, numbers getting forward for the Mustangs. Could this be their best chance of the day? Onto the right foot, shot blocked, corner. Great defending, 1v1. That's number 5 for the Irish, Carolyn Calzada.
Well, and this defensive presence is right off the training ground because it's the zone that really coughs that ball up. We've seen Eddie go 1v1 and whip this ball in, but her touch actually takes her away from frame. She's trying to turn her hips, which gives Calzada a chance to go down low and knock it away. But the Irish are not out of the opportunity yet, looking at this corner with SMU.
It's going to be for naught, though the ball was on the top of the net. Foul was called in the box. And how about the Cardinal? Right now, confident on top of Virginia at the half in Palo Alto. Ike Kohler. Paul Ratcliffe's team looking pretty good yet again here this season. This could be a huge statement game for Stanford.
Hey, 2-0 is hard coming back from, and they're at home, so they have a little bit more of that advantage. But you know Virginia's going to come out in that second half fighting. Such a good matchup going on in that one.
A stoppage of play here. Conversation between the head official and Nicole Nelson, and she's going to get a card. Morgan, I don't know if we missed any conversation before, but that's the most nonchalant yellow card someone's ever received.
I have a feeling Nicole Nelson was letting our referee know what she thought there. I've been so impressed just with our conversation with her and just her demeanor. You can tell how much her players mean to her and how she will fight for them as well and also hold them to standards. And I think that's exactly what she's doing there. She's letting him know she doesn't agree with that, and it can be really helpful too to have more of a stoic leader who's going to hold the line but also stick up for you as a player, and I think that's what you saw right there.
Cool customer. Both hands in pockets. She must have said something. She must have gotten her money's worth earlier.
Very unbothered by the yellow. You gotta love it.
Throw in for the Irish, up 2-0. Chukwu, angle, back to goal. Joseph, shot block. Whistle going the other way. Haley Hartman, the captain. One of the centerpieces of that back line for the Mustangs. Nicole Nelson telling us she just brings such a joy to the training grounds each and every day. Her endurance, she goes a full 90 most days. Began her career in the SEC and in the Big 12. This is her third school now. She's been a big part for this Mustangs team. Good to see the senior Lanny Matriano back in there. Battled some injury this year, has missed a number of matches. Looked like it retweaked on Thursday night against Florida State late. And there was some doubt whether she'd be available for today or not, but on her senior day, getting some minutes. Such an important piece in that midfield for the Irish. See what she's done on the year. That calming presence for a number of seasons for Nate Norman and this Irish team.
And Matriano is a big part of how Notre Dame plays, and she allows them to do what they do. So on the defensive side, that calming presence. She was a big player that SMU, coming into the game, she's the one they wanted to limit on the ball, knowing that she could be an unlock.
Whistle there as a Mustang goes down. Is it a point to the box? It might have been just outside. They're going to video review it.
And it looks like it's a bit of a tangle. It's the back leg of Calzada who pulls down Nicholson. And it's right around the edge of the box. This is a really good view here. So Calzada goes to step forward. She misses, and that back leg pulls her down. It looks like it should be outside of the box.
Just an unfortunate moment for Calzada, who got tangled, and like you said, just clipped the back of the foot there. And it does look like it's just at the edge of the box on the outside.
And Aria, these are the moments as a defender, at all times, you just have to be careful of when you're stepping, right? Because it can be as simple as missing a play and then clipping a player like that. And if it's a couple inches one way or another, could completely change what that opportunity looks like. So stepping, you have to be confident that you know you're going to win the ball, especially in that area.
Outside of the box indeed, so no penalty. One final look.
And it was Calzada who won the initial ball. You see her stepping there, she misses, and it's definitely outside the box as she brings down Nicholson. But now you have a set piece, and SMU feels confident on set pieces. So what you have to keep an eye on is, one, the first ball, but second, what does the clearance look like? Because you know the Mustangs are going to be hungry in getting on top of anything that deflects out.
Yapic, 7. Ungashik, 15. Oh, and this ends up just skyrocketing over the bar. Wasted chance for the Mustangs. I want to remind you that women's sports take over the afternoon every Sunday right here on ACC Network. Next week, we start at noon Eastern with some soccer. Number 3 Stanford squaring off against Miami. And then Cuse hosting number 23 North Carolina in volleyball. Should be another great afternoon. Those of you earlier watched SMU take down Miami in volleyball. The Mustangs having another excellent season. A couple substitutions in as well here at Alumni Stadium. Cott plays it into the path of Klinke. Two-time All-ACC honoree. Hand fighting there and a foul calls. Played out wide. Klinke surveys, drops it back. Now Notre Dame switches the point of attack. Nice build-up from the Irish. Service towards that 6-yard box. Brown crunched. Able to hold on. And there's a foul.
That was so well done on all areas. Aubrey Brown coming off her line so strong. And the ball that was played forward, it looks like it actually came from Pinto, but then was played into Knapp. She does a little twist of her hips, which then shifts the defender and allows her to open up the seam and play the ball through before the cross. Really well done on both sides.
On the throw. Hodson. Codd chasing. Calzada didn't like what she had, drops it back. Mills, poor ball, intercepted. Numbers getting forward again for SMU. Into the path. There, Vetti onto her right, blocked on the cross. And Eddie a bit nonchalant. Don't think she quite understood how fast Klinke was closing in. And now she's offside.
Well, and also, Arya, how strong of the defenders that she's going against. Because that ball played wide to her. You can see Calzada's tucked a little bit inside, and then when it goes wide to Eddie, she springs over. That little cut move is really good, and she doesn't need a lot of space to serve it, but it has to be decisive, and she has to go quick. Because if she waits one beat, Calzada has done it now a couple times, just gotten her foot in to deflect. And then the second line of defending is coming back with Klinke. She's also played on this back line so much in her career. So it's difficult for Eddie. She's got to be decisive. And I also want to see her switch it up. Can she maybe dribble inside? Because now she's getting caught twice. Here she is, 2v1 against two incredibly strong 1v1 defenders.
She uses the outside of the foot to try and go towards that end line. Good defending again. Eddie turns, service, finds a teammate in the box. And a nice job by the Irish to close it down quickly.
And Arya, that first touch from the SMU attacker wasn't great, but you see how tired Eddie is here. The work rate that she's putting in, going time and time again up that right flank. Can they recycle it, find the other side, and give her a moment as well so she can maybe come in on the back end versus just trying to dribble and beat everyone 1v1.
Klinke finds the feet of Oka. Matriano to Cott. Triangle created by the Irish. Trying to build and get out of the press. Nieves thought she had a clean tackle, but a whistle.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. It's good defending. It's great defending from SMU in that space. Nieves closing the pocket. Unfortunately. unfortunate foul.
I've seen SMU be able to turn Notre Dame over a few more times here in this second half, especially in their own half.
That was their key coming in, and I agree they weren't able to do it as much in the first half, but that's what's led to their opportunities and sustained pressure.
There we go, White.
Klinke finds the ball at her feet. Lefty cross, Angle, couldn't get it quite on her foot. Throw in, we'll go to SMU. Been a quiet afternoon so far for Angle, all things considered. When you usually notice the activity level, a lot of attention being paid to number 3.
This is a tough ball played wide from Cod, but she does a nice job at least getting it somewhat under control so Klinke can play it back across. But Aria, going to your statement, that's the area too that we've seen Angle grow in. When it comes to having a game or maybe a spell of the season that might be a little bit quieter, she is a player that mentally knows how to adapt to that and is still completely locked in. Something we talked with Nate Norman about is he said whether it's something she's telling herself, a phrase, what she keeps saying internally, she knows she's still engaged and has the ability to impact a game. And that is something from a young player, that maturation can support them just in being unstoppable as they continue to grow in their college career. So yes, it's been quieter. And also, there's still 22 minutes left. She absolutely can make an impact. And if she has a quiet game, you know she'll come back in the next game and still be fully locked in.
No doubt about that. Nate Norman touching on the way she's impacting her teammates, the confidence, as you mentioned, that she's learning to play with as Restovich comes in.
Charlie Codd was a worker. She has been today and done a really nice job. More of the engine in the midfield. She's created a lot on that weak side, getting forward centrally. But giving her a break, what I'm happy to see is that Matriano's staying in. We know she's nursing a little bit of an injury, came back versus FSU. Happy to see her still in, getting some more minutes.
Terrific ball into the box from Roy. Cleared out. The Irish looking for a third to put this one to bed. And one of the nation's top offenses all season long. Second in goals per game, in points per game, 4th in goal differential, 7th in shots per game, 8th in shots on goal. Top 10 in a number of categories as that ball doesn't find any runners. You have offenses like that, right, Morgan, when you have players like Ellie Hodson who have 6 goals coming off your bench to provide that spark, or as you called it, and an energy injector.
Yeah, I mean, even on that last opportunity, that ball that they picked off, it's kind of right at the edge of their attacking third. And she does the work defensively to pick it off. Not the best decision with the final shot or cross, but in an offensive, a team's offense that has players like Notre Dame does with Angle, with Chukwu, and then who you talk about coming in off the bench and the midfield behind to back them up. Yeah, it's difficult to beat that, but there's also a lot of teams in the ACC who have similar, and that's what just separates this conference.
Under 20 to play here on Senior Day in South Bend. It's been a beautiful weekend in the area. Irish fans watching Notre Dame knock off NC State yesterday on the gridiron. Marcus Freeman's Notre Dame squad has bounced back well after those opening 2 losses to begin the year. Brown scoops that. Talent statistician Matt Siegel with a pretty good note here. 38th season in program history for Notre Dame. At home at Alumni Stadium, 87% win record. 383 home victories for the Irish. My goodness. almost automatic for Nate Norman and the number of outstanding coaches that have come through this program. Ball played over the top. Brown there. She's got it. And it went back to the point that Coach Norman made right after trailing at half to Florida State. And he told his team, he got lively, he got into them a little bit, and he said, are you going to let somebody come on to the place that you make most of your memories, your home turf, and allow them to bully you around like that? And boy, did his team respond in the second half with 3 goals, outshot Florida State 9-6, and found one of the best victories of the season in college soccer, and they remain undefeated. Pressure by SMU. Nieves looking to pick out her teammate. Good defending again from Notre Dame on that back line. Now Hodson couldn't quick turn against Hartman there, but does win it and then gives it away.
That's a great ball. Sliding that little one to continue to play make. And that's when that Notre Dame is going to want to find the foot of Joseph, or like I've said a few times today, play it 1 or 2 steps in front of her, so when she's going full speed, she can get on the end of it.
Come on, Iris, come on!
Substitution for
All new ACC PM Monday through Thursday from 6 to 7 Eastern, and Friday at a special 2-hour football focused edition from 5 to 7 Eastern, hosted by Kelsey Riggs Cuff right here on ACC Network and the all new ESPN app.
Substitutions for SMU, entering the pitch for Mustangs. Number 11, Zoe Parkhurst. Number 14, Liz Eddy. Replacing number 32, Laura Newell. And number 5, Truth Byers.
Chukwu in for Engel. A little over 16 to play. 2-goal lead for Notre Dame on senior day. After this, the Irish will play 3 consecutive road matches to finish out the regular season. Hodson, shot, safe. Terrific ball to spring Ellie Hodson.
It's a terrific ball, and it's a quick shot on the run. Hodson looking to take advantage of the 3 back now for SMU, because with those substitutions, they took off Umel, adding in another attacker. But this is that ball from Matriano, just completely splits it. It's the run from Hodson that dictates where that ball needs to go. A great pass in. Only time for a first touch. Great job from Hodson. Look for her to continue challenging at this back line, because there's only 3 now. So they'll play a little bit more narrow. So can those slip balls be played in, or do the wing backs get on the ball more for Notre Dame?
Mustangs looking for a lifeline shot. Kasica comes up huge. Got one out of the net there.
And Ari, I'm talking about how it affects things for SMU defensively, but on the attacking end, getting Eddy back in and taking off that defender just gives them more numbers higher up. We know that Eddy will let it go with not a lot of space. That one looked a little bit more like a toe poke, but I don't blame her. Kasica hasn't been put under pressure much, especially with a direct shot.
Things got a little hairy there. Nervy moments. You see the energy of Hodson just forcing the issue. And Brown had to wait for it to get into her box so she could touch it. Chukwu, muscle, foul.
And the last opportunity for SMU, Eddy going 1v1. She switched to the other side. So now as she puts it on her right foot, she's central. All the defenders are closing in. She just tries to go with the quick shot. But if she stays on that left side, her runs will start to come more central, which is what I wanted to see from her earlier, but it was putting it on her non-dominant foot. So now she's on the left. Can she cut in? They're going to be looking for her to go directly to goal now.
Good save from Kasica, but brilliant individual run there from Liz Eddy, who has really come on in her sophomore year. Substitutions coming for SMU. There's Kaya Lee, the senior from Overland Park, Kansas. She comes in for Libby Janreth. SMU team looking to try and make it back to the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2021. Lost that year in the second round to Florida State 5-1 after notching a 2-0 win over Texas in the opening round. Turnover, Roy, 1v1, dancing into the box, trying to shake a defender onto her left. Just clipped away for a moment, still fighting for it, and won by SMU. Now forward, 2-on-2. Mustangs in transition. Eddie fighting, working for it. Slide tackle by Mills. A wave of blue into the attack. Ungashik, edge of the box. Cross low, hard through the zone. And through that box, but nobody home. Good ball from Lee.
If this game opens up, it actually plays more into how SMU wants this to go with the quick transitions, because they're committed to doing the work defensively, but right there you see what happens when they spring the ball forward. Arya, you said a wave of blue. That was perfectly said, because they had their front runners going, and then when there was a second opportunity, that wave of blue came quicker than the defensive work from Notre Dame from their midfielders dropping in. I expect to see SMU continuing to send numbers and committing that second wave, getting forward as they look to create opportunities in this final 11 minutes.
Chukwu. The Irish, they will switch the point. Glinky has space to operate, picks out a teammate. It's Codd. Another turnover. Direct ball into the path of Eddie. Mills was able to beat her there. Check that. That's Calzada, who's able to win the foot race to the ball.
Substitution for SMU, entering the pitch, number 22, goal striker. Number 15, William Undershick.
And looking back on both goals for Notre Dame, it was the set pieces that made a difference. The first one, it's Chukwu who puts it away. This is the ball in from Restovich, and then it's Mills getting on the end of it. After a very long look from video review, that goal stood. But I feel like there's still another one in this game, Aria. I feel like we're seeing SMU. They've been confident in the second half. They're getting forward. They're committed. They're not afraid to defend and then jump forward. And for Notre Dame, can they find the weak side? That's the unlock to beat this press right now. Are they in a rush to get a goal? No. But do they have ability to strike at any minute? Absolutely. That I just feel like there's one more here.
The Mustangs really are pushing higher and higher. Looking for their first road goal, by the way, since early September, when they found a goal at Syracuse, what ended up being a 1-1 draw. Both teams settling for a point. Haven't scored on the road since. Meanwhile, this Irish team, 2 goals again, both coming in the first half. The only team in the country to score at least 2 goals in every game here this season. Klinke, 1v1. Takes it towards that corner flag, cuts it back. Klinke onto her left, turns, end line run, cross, Brown, nice work. It looks like a receiver for Rhett Lashley's Mustangs on the gridiron. Chipped over the top. What a wonderful ball. Roy sprung through, and it's 3. The Irish flying high at home here on this senior day.
Morgan Roy has been outstanding today, but look at the work in the middle of the field. You see Restovich just open herself up. This is an incredible ball across her body with her left foot. Right before that, you could hear Roy calling for it. She just slips in behind. It's tough to see the angle in which this ball was played, but there was no space. It goes all the way across to Roy, and that's just a composed finish, putting it home. What an incredible match so far we've seen from Morgan Roy.
Second goal of the year for Roy, who slotted it home towards that near post and beat Aubrey Brown. So 3-0 Irish. Morgan, you were right. You felt like there were more goals coming, and there might even be a few more here at 9 minutes to play.
And SMU will not give up. They're going to continue to press. So yes, down 3. And they're a team, they will fight the full 90, and I really appreciate that because it's not just something that their coach says that they do. You see it on the field. They're committed to getting forward, committed to getting behind the ball.
How much of this, Morgan, now for SMU becomes a point of pride as Chukwu carries the ball, and oh, what a step over. Created space. Was closed down there by Yapic. But you see the individual brilliance of Chukwu, who had a dazzling goal late against Florida State on Thursday night. The pride has to be on the menu right now for SMU, looking for a statement for themselves to continue to build upon what they've been able to do in the ACC now in their second year in the conference. 8 wins this year, and wanting to adapt and wanting to grow the program. Finding something positive, right, to get to the final few games of your schedule in this brutal league could mean a lot for Nicole Nelson's club.
And a goal could completely change that because is it 3-0? Yes. Has Notre Dame been dominant? Absolutely. But this second half, I think SMU has absolutely played their part in it, that it does not feel like a 3-goal game in this second half, and they're continuing to push. So I think for them, getting one on frame, not allowing a shutout for Notre Dame.
An attempt from distance. Not enough on it from Kelly Gordon.
We've talked about how dominant Notre Dame is at home, and knowing this is a team that needs to clean some things up defensively, they've given up goals at home. So SMU knows they can do it and also knows it can be difficult to play there. So for them to be able to score, like you said, a goal on the road, it's been a little bit. There is a lot to still play for, and they've had the opportunities, but right now what it comes down to is how can they regain their composure. These fouls, it can be common for this to start to take over. How can they regroup, commit back to the block, and then get forward as a unit, because we've talked about that wave of players getting forward. They have the ability to put one away.
Card there for Nieves. So she's into the book. Joseph. Tangle. Oh, had multiple runners there. It was closed off.
It's the right idea from SMU defensively, and then able to ping a couple balls, but it's that final one.
Angle is through, outside of the boot, into the back of the net, far post. Nate Norman can't believe it. Flag had gone up. It would have been 7 straight matches with a goal for Izzy Angle.
That one might not be standing, but the way that she struck that, I don't think she's out of this game or mentally struggling with the fact that she doesn't have a goal so far. So much composure, letting that one go. You mentioned, Aria, the outside of the boot. Are you kidding me?
That was awesome. I had a feeling it might have been offside, but I was going to get my money's worth on the goal call.
Something like that makes an average person, I'll even add myself into that, thinking I could go out back, find a goal, and whip one in. That is so difficult. The timing of it, to not sky it over the goal, to hit it with so much pace and also on frame. Really impressive.
A player to keep an eye on, no doubt, in the U.S. youth national team system as well. Let's take a look at the all-state play of the match.
And it started with Restovich, the beautiful pass across her body into Roy, who wanted the ball into space, brings it down first time and lets it go. But watch the bend on this ball as it goes from her left all the way across to the corner of the box, finding Roy in behind. That's Restovich's 8th assist of the season, her 2nd one today.
And for Morgan Roy, the 5th goal of her Irish career. Restovich, a 2-assist game. 8 on the year, as Morgan mentioned. And Notre Dame confident, poised to remain undefeated on the year, one of just 3 teams. And Virginia trailing at Stanford. That number could be down to 2 between Virginia, Memphis, and Notre Dame coming into today as the 3. Stanford still up 2-0. Just over 4 to play, corner coming. Riley DiMartino, the sophomore from Potomac, Maryland. A couple minutes late. And the Irish are going to continue to make some subs.
Number 16, Meg Malicki. Number 22, Tatiana Tanya. And number 29, Rowan Pearl. Replacing number 4, Leah Quinty.
There's Tatiana Teague on your screen. And Tessa Knapp will take the corner. A lot of youth being infused here late. A couple of headers, flag one up, offside. .3-0 Irish. And for Notre Dame, final 3 games will be all on the road after an 11-day layoff. Nate Norman was joking. He said, we go to VT, we go to Wake, we go to Pitt, we'll do some pumpkin carving right before Halloween. But the opportunity to team build, right? And to build that culture and continue the chemistry. Sometimes being away from home, it's also fall break at Notre Dame during that time. That allows you to really build and unite a group away from the friendly confines of their home stadium and home city.
Well, and teams have that ability at preseason, right? But this is often when a lot of players are really getting to know each other, and then it happens in the spring. So to have a moment like that in the fall can be really important for a team and how they maximize that, especially when you look at Notre Dame and the run that they're expecting to make. It's a good time for them to just focus on themselves, and couldn't come at a better time.
That'll go out for a goal kick. And the #1 ranked RPI for the Irish. And when you start thinking about postseason soccer, we're just a couple of weeks away. The opportunity to play at home all the way through a College Cup can make all the difference, right? Of reaching and being one of those last 4 teams in. We could point to last season for Notre Dame, who was playing as well as anybody to end the year, but had to go on the road to play Stanford and lost 2-0, 1 step shy of reaching the College Cup. Maybe this season they'll have the opportunity, and they're poised to be able to have a 1 seed all the way through. Shot blocked. Nieves crunched down and took a knock.
Sammy Nieves has battled this entire game. We've seen her being the engine getting forward, doing the work, getting into battles on the defensive end. This is an area I want to see SMU make the most of this chance. They have to keep it in play. Their last set piece they let go.
Perhaps one final chance for the Mustangs. Nieves. That was cleared off the line. I should say out of the box instead. The Irish do it again. And now, numbers getting forward. That was Paige Buckner, who had a huge goal against Florida State late in the first half. Only played about 3 minutes and made them count in that contest. Here's the junior from Rancho Santa Fe, California. Buckner, who scored in each of her last 2 games against Louisville and Florida State. But a Notre Dame team poised to remain undefeated. Moved to 7-0 in the ACC, perfect at home, 9-0 on the year, and an 11-match winning streak, longest in the nation. Not quite done yet. Shot blocked. Header there. Finds the net. And it had to be her. Miss efficient. Paige Buckner, another goal, 3 straight now.
As this ball's played across, it goes to 4, who does the work, and then Buckner is in behind and gets the last touch. And it actually looks like it might have been called later offside. They're going to take another look at it.
Oh, flag did go up indeed. You saw the shoulder shrug from Buckner.
This is a good look at it. As 4 plays that ball, it definitely looks like Buckner is in behind. A step beyond the defender, which at that point, Aria, would be our last defender. I know this was a conversation earlier. That is the last defender. Buckner is behind. That would be offside. Taking away her 3 goals in 3 games, but hey, she's still got 6 seconds left, right? Maybe she can do it.
Just enough time. It'll remain at 3-0. With the flag going up. Either way, another strong showing on this senior day for Notre Dame. Final few seconds tick off. A perfect season at Alumni Stadium at home for the Irish. And an 11-match winning streak. Chukwu got us started early. 2 more goals to follow for Nate Norman.